It's now July 5th. No, July 6th. Sorry, weekend's gotten away from me. It's July 6th. The last I worked on the treehouse was on or about September 13th of last year. So I took the winter off, got it to the point of functional use. It now has stairs, it now has a rail. People can go up there without getting hurt. But it's time to get back to it. So what you're looking at here are the 4 posts that are going to hold up the railing for the stairs, the banister, if you will. And you can see here, this one I put into place, and right off the stairs I made this mark. And what I'm going to do is remove about 1 inch of wood in this section, and then it's going to fit onto the stairs and get bolted together. So what I've done is using, what do you call these things? Well, this is a nice one. I love this one. Don't understand the ones that are more expensive than it, because this does all you could ever want with one of these. You can adjust how tight it gets with that little screw. The cam fits in. It's really nice. But in any event, angle adjusters, dealy things, I don't know. Whatever you call that. I've used it to transfer the measurements onto the 4 of them, and you can see that, well, you can barely see that one, but 2 cut to the left, 2 cut to the right, so it's going to be 2 on each side. Right now the rail that runs along the top of the treehouse is going to form the top of the banister. One of these will go on each side at the bottom of the stairs, and one of them will go on each side halfway up the stairs, and that'll form the banister. So that's them all marked out. Next thing I need to do is mark the depth for the cuts, and then I need to hog out the wood. I think I'm going to do much of it on the table saw with a dado blade. And in terms of this angled section here, I'll probably do that with a router. But first to finish marking them out. I've now started the joinery, and I've done this much with the router. I pulled out my big 3 horsepower porta cable. As monstrous as it is, this machine is wonderfully balanced. The trigger works well, the handles are good. I actually really like it. I almost wish they made a smaller version that was basically this in miniature, because it's so well balanced and so easy to use. But that said, here are the joints that I did, and you can see I used a guide to cut the angle, and then I hogged out all the waste to get just clear of that. And you can see here, so my plan now is to put a dado stack on the table saw and remove all this waste over here. I figured that'll be a lot faster than trying to do it all with the router. But this angle, I could figure out a way to do it on the table saw, but for this steep angle it seems much easier to bring the blade to the wood than the wood to the blade. So that's what I've done on all 4 of them, is hog it out to the point where I can now just make straight cross cuts. And I'm going to get the table saw set up and start hogging out the waste. So far so good. I got the first one all set. I got the saw switched over to the miter, to the dado stack rather. You can see it's a little sloppy. That's because these posts are far from square. They're rocking a little bit. I'm trying to keep them tight to the miter fence. You know, it's going to work. I'll probably caulk the outside edge to prevent water entry, but it's going to work as I need it to. So that's that first one done. Now to just bang out the other 3, and see, here's the dado stack on the saw. I'm just using this. This is my factory miter gauge, which I set at 90 degrees and attach a block to and never change. I just use this as a 90 degree. It's a pseudo sled. Not quite as nice as a sled, but it's a lot faster to make. And it's got a nice big handle. I'm actually rather impressed by this as a factory miter gauge, but I don't risk it. For angled cuts, down there somewhere I have an Incra 2000 SE, I think, which is absolutely a piece of crap. I'm very unimpressed with it. I'll never buy another Incra product. But that being said, where do I go for miter cuts? I go over there. I actually find that saw to be more accurate than the Incra miter table saw, which has, I'm sure, a lot of you saying, "What? That's crazy." I can say from practice it's not. There was a time I was making 2 picture frames simultaneously, and one picture frame I cut here with the Incra, and one picture frame I cut there. Same wood, same milled, everything was the same except where I cut the miters. The miters off the Bosch were perfect. The miters off the Incra were not. I think some of that is that the vertical plane of the fence on the Incra is not plumb to the table, which means I'd have to shim it, and because it's this big extruded piece that slides with these knobs in the back, I'm not even sure how I should shim it, and frankly I don't want to figure it out. For the money I paid for that thing, it should be perfect, and it's not. And that's my biggest issue with the Incra. It's temperamental to use, it's not accurate without shimming. And it's overpriced for what you get. It should be perfect out of the box for that kind of money. But anyway, I'm ranting. So this is what I'm doing to cut those, I don't know, to relieve the bottom of those cuts on the vertical posts. So let me get back to cutting posts. Alright, so here we are off the saw. Got all 4 of them ready. Next thing I'll do is drag 1 or 2 of them out there, chest fit them, and figure out what the height's going to be. What I think I'm going to do is cut them to length and put little chamfers around the top, clean it up a little bit before they get installed. So next, drag them back out there and make some test fits and mark some height. I'm back at the stairs now. See, this is how I left them. And what I'm working on right now is I marked out even with the tread, and I've made marks. I'm gonna, right now, the treads are each attached with, what's it look like, 12 big Craig screws per. And I'm gonna take these 6-inch timber lock screws and sink them right in from the end. These things bite wonderfully. They're supposedly stronger than 3/8 lag screws. But I really like these screws. They're from OMG, which is a fastener company we use at work. Big commercial fastener company. They know what they're doing. So I'm going to sink 2 of these here and here into each one. So I want to add these in to secure the treads prior to installing the posts. So that's what I'm doing quickly now, and then I'll drag the posts back here. So here is the first post. 3 posts out here. Before I brought them out here, I measured the height of the railing on my porch, and so that the banister was approximately 36 inches off the ground. That actually would put it about here. So these are going to be a little low. I'm assuming that since it's for kids, it's not going to be a big deal. So I wasn't going to take a lot off the top. I was thinking originally I might be taking a lot off the top. Apparently not. So I cut these bevels in the top to let it shed water and not have water sit on the top edge. So I cleaned up the top of the 4 of them. I have added those screws as I talked about. And now here's the first one, just clamped on. I'm going to attach it, and then we'll take it from there. And here we are. A bit later in the day than I'd hoped, but still, I'm very happy with the way they came out. Here you can see where they're installed. One at the bottom. That one's not exactly in the middle, but it's very close, and I lined it up referencing one of the steps, so it's just easy to place. So here they are. Use this as the example. See, I recessed on this side to put in, that's a regular washer, a lock washer, and a nut. And those are carriage bolts. They're 3/8 galvanized carriage bolts. Just one above the step and one below the step. And that's the way they rest. So they're locked on nice and tight. They're not going anywhere. The little bit of flex you get is just from the wood itself, but it's very solidly attached, and it'll be easy to tighten that if I ever have to, though I'm thinking that with a lock washer I should be okay. And that's going to be about it for the day. What I need to do now is take some measurements from that top post to the middle post to the bottom post, and then I'm just going to get galvanized pipe and make the banister itself out of galvanized pipe. So there we are. That are the, we'll call them the banister posts for the treehouse.